Yes. What's going on, family? What is up, guys? What is going on? Welcome to today's session. Welcome to today's stream with none other than your boy, Mr. Abel Melendez. Super excited to be here with every single one of y'all, family. But if you guys can hear my voice, if you guys can hear me loud and clear, go ahead and drop your locations in the chat, because we are back with another live stream. We are back to start the week off on a great note. And we're really back, guys, to ultimately go ahead and really take our trading up a whole nother level. So I'm excited to be here with every single one of y'all. Right, let's see what we got in the building today. Shout out to all my Noti gang. I see y'all. What's going on? We got Guyana in the building. We got Yusuf from Phoenix. What is up? ATL in the house. We got Suriname in the house. What is going on? Chicago in the building. What is up? Riverside, California. Baltimore, Maryland, the 410. We got New Jersey in the building. Barbados in the building. What's going on, family? What's going on? Welcome to today's session. Super excited to be here with every single one of you guys, as we are normally here every single Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Because my goal, my objective is to ultimately just make you guys a little bit better, get you guys better with trading overall. And that's something I'm extremely excited about, because I just love being able to provide that value, being able to provide that sauce to those of you guys that are going to take it serious. That's what I really like, guys. So I'm super excited to be here with every single one of y'all. Let me go ahead and just confirm that we are good to go. Let me see. All right. We're good to go. What's going on, family? What's going on? Let's see what else we got in the building today. I see we got LA in the house. We got St. Lucia. We got Jamaica, Utah, Vermont, Colorado Springs in the building as well. Go ahead and smash the like button for me as well, family. Go ahead and smash the like button. All right, again, it's going to be another phenomenal session. So if you guys are excited for it tonight, then go ahead and smash that like button as well. All right, let's go ahead and get the likes to match up with the viewers. That would be absolutely amazing, and it will be super appreciative as well. You know, you don't understand how much, but a simple like, guys, really does help us out tremendously as content creators on YouTube. So I appreciate all you guys that do go ahead and provide that value, or provide that love, show that love, that support for, you know, all the value that is being provided here, and what I continue to look forward to providing with you guys as well. All right, so let's go ahead and see what we got here, guys. Let's go ahead and take a look at the economic calendar really quickly, because we do have major news for tomorrow, guys. If you guys were not aware, but tomorrow we do have CPI, right? We have CPI. We have the Consumer Price Index that is getting released tomorrow, guys, early morning, 8:30 a.m. And CPI is very important information that we have to be aware of, because CPI, what does CPI measure, guys? I want to ask you guys this, right? What does CPI measure, and why is it important for us to really pay attention to it? All right, who knows in the chat what CPI measures and why it's important for us as Forex traders to be aware of this specific release and be aware of exactly how it plays out? All right, let's see. I see we got H-Town in the building. What's going on, DJ? Good to see you in the chat as well. I appreciate you. Welcome to the stream for today. Super excited to be here with every single one of y'all. Right, but yeah, guys, CPI measures the change in the price of goods, aka it measures inflation. Okay, it's the leading indicator, or the leading measure of inflation that we pretty much have, or that we utilize to really figure out how much or how crazy inflation is going. Right, so again, CPI, guys, is very important as Forex traders, because we should all be aware of, at least by now, right? We should be aware, family, how important news truly is, right? One thing that I do on this channel right here, one thing that I do on all of my videos, is that I cannot stress the importance of really becoming more educated from a fundamental standpoint, from a sentimental standpoint, than only or solely trying to rely on technical analysis, right? Because that's what I realize, guys, a lot of newer traders do. because I used to do that, right? Again, for those of you guys that don't know or haven't really followed me or haven't, heard anything about my story, I've been trading for 7.5 years now. My first 2 years was absolutely rough. I made no money. I literally made no withdrawals, right? And then I eventually found mentorship. I eventually found education, and then ultimately everything changed, right? But what I want you guys to understand as well is that my trading really didn't get to a completely crazier level until I really understood the importance of fundamentals, and until I really understood how to interpret those fundamentals and really create sentiment off of those fundamental analysis, right? Because it's one thing understanding when a release is actually going to get released, but it's another thing on how to position yourself based on the rumors of that release. And that's one thing I've been trying to really get you guys on board with and up to par with, is understanding the news, understanding the event, understanding the important event, but also understanding, guys, how to absolutely trade it, right? And how to be on the right side of these different news events that are actually getting released. So tomorrow we do have a major one with CPI over here in the US. But even before we have CPI, guys, we also do have GDP for the pound. Right, again, GDP itself is also extremely important, guys. Now, who knows what GDP measures? Right, who knows what GDP measures? Right, because GDP is also very, very important, and is a really, a very important way for people or for investors and traders to really dictate on how strong or weak an economy truly is. Right, GDP stands for gross domestic product. First things first. All right, and I want you guys to see what it exactly measures. Right, and you guys can do the same exact thing, guys, anytime you guys are looking at the calendar. Like, you can literally click on the actual news event, and it'll tell you exactly what it measures, right? But gross domestic product, it measures the annualized change in the inflation-adjusted value of goods, right? So, again, this is a way, guys, to really dictate on how strong or how good an economy really is doing, right? If we see GDP increasing, then typically that means that the economy is really strong and there's growth happening across the board. But when we start to see GDP decreasing, right, then that's telling us that the economy is starting to contract, right? There's not as much happening before, and you're going to probably see a decline in the equities markets as well. But this is something, guys, that does get released as well tomorrow at 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So literally in about 4 hours, right, it's going to be released. And you best believe that the pound is going to be influenced by this actual release, okay? Right now, we're seeing across the board, right, that obviously every single economy, every single central bank is dealing with inflation. And because of how these central banks are reacting to inflation, and because of the monetary policy that they're actually, or the policies that they're actually utilizing, we should be expecting, guys, negative GDP, or not just negative, but a decline, a slowdown in GDP across the board for damn near every single economy, right? And that's just because, again, that's just one measure that is used. The things that they do to try to slow down inflation, right? Like raising interest rates, going through the process of quantitative tightening, right? All those things, guys, are done to try to slow down an economy, right? To try to slow down, spending, right? To try to combat inflation. So it's no surprise that right here, guys, the previous GDP came out at 8.7 year over year, right? 8.7% growth. But right now, they're actually expecting it to actually decrease tremendously, right? So last year around this time, guys, GDP was growing at around 8.7%. As of right now, they got it to being down to 2.7%. And it's all because, again, these things that these central banks are doing, guys, which, again, the main one is obviously, them raising rates, right? When you start to see interest rates go up, most traders and investors and most people in general, they start to get into hoard mode, right? Now, because interest rates are going up, they understand that the cost of everything else is going to go up. The cost of borrowing is going to go up. It's not going to be as easy, to get loans, to get access to money. So what they do is they start to sit on money. They start to hoard money. They don't spend as much into the economy, which is going to really show, GDP starting to decrease, guys. So that itself also comes out for the pound, and that will, again, be a market mover. Now, again, GDP typically, when GDP comes out lower than expected, that is normally not looked at as good for the economy. Okay? That's not good for the economy, which means you're going to probably see, especially if you trade the indices over there across the seas, there's a bunch of different indices just like we have over here in the US with US 30, S&P 500, NAS 100. you know, the UK and all those countries and economies over there, they have their own indexes, guys. So if you do trade any of those indexes, then you should expect a drop in those indexes, because typically whenever you see GDP starting to decrease, that's going to bring fear, that's going to be bring uncertainty. And whenever there's fear and uncertainty in the markets, we see the markets absolutely start to go backwards, right? At least for the equities, the more riskier plays, guys. So that's something to keep in mind, is that GDP. But again, the one that I'm really going to be focused on more than anything, guys, is going to be CPI, just because I trade predominantly all USD pairs, and I'm very interested to see what this is actually going to come out as. Obviously, as of right now, you know, the rumor is that inflation is going to come out even higher, where we're talking about from 8.6% year over year. That tomorrow's reading is supposed to come out at 8.8. So that's pretty much just saying that inflation is still very much here, is still very much strong, and that inflation doesn't look like it's going anywhere anytime soon. Now, if that does come out as projected, guys, right, if we do come out with CPI higher, we have to understand how to really be able to trade this, right? Because typically when CPI comes out strong the way that it is, and when it's this high, this is most definitely going to cause, or going to continue to cause, a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt in the markets. And we should be aware, guys, that when there's a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt in the markets, what typically benefits during times of fear, uncertainty, and doubt? Right? Go ahead and answer that in the chat, family, right? Go ahead and answer that in the chat. What typically benefits? What assets, what currencies, what metals, what typically benefits during times of fear, uncertainty, and doubt? Right? I want to see who's actually paying attention in the chats. Let's see. Yeah, the risk off type of assets, right? Exactly. But what are the risk off assets, right? I know there's a lot of you guys that are probably new to this streams and don't really understand what risk off is just yet, right? So what are risk off assets that will possibly benefit during times of fear, uncertainty, and doubt? Yeah, right. We got gold. We got the US dollar, right? Those are usually the main ones, right? Gold and the USD. Typically, most people also like to consider the Japanese yen, the Swiss franc, as quote unquote risk off assets as well. Alongside, you know, US treasuries and bonds is also considered risk off assets, you know, that benefit during these type of times. But the strongest one, guys, and the one that we have clearly been seeing has been dominating across the board, is going to be the US dollar. So overall, if CPI does come out what is expected to come out as, then we can see the equities markets continue to decline. We can see S&P dropping, NAS 100 dropping, US 30 dropping. But in return, we should be able to see the dollar gain strength and value, right? Because as you know, you see money flowing out of the stock market, as you see money flowing out of the indice market, normally it's going to either go back into a safer investment, right? Which right now the go-to is the dollar. So as money's flowing from this asset over here in the stock market, the indice market, it is going to go into US dollar, and that's going to continue to cause for the demand for the dollar to continue to stay elevated, and that's why we should expect dollar continuations to the upside. All right, so that's just the way to look at it, guys, right? Especially when you're trying to put two and two together with fundamental and sentimental analysis. You got to understand exactly what's going to be affected, but you also got to understand how the currencies are going to be affected by it more than anything. All right, and like I said before, and I said this a million times, guys, on these streams, right? Understand the difference between the economy gaining strength and losing strength, and the currency gaining strength or losing strength, right? Typically, when we have negative data that comes out for the economy, that means that there's a good chance that the dollar is actually going to increase in value because of that negative data, right? Because now people are going to be liquidating their assets from the riskier plays like the stock market, indice market. They're going to go into the dollar, and vice versa, right? Whenever we have positive data that comes out for the economy, typically we'll see the stock market, the indice market increase in value with positive data, but we'll see the currency possibly lose value because of that positive data, right? So that's just a way to look at it, guys, when we're actually trying to really interpret news and how we're going to be playing it and correlating overall. Now, I see a few of you guys were talking about New Zealand, right? There is New Zealand news absolutely happening right now, right, with the interest rate decision. You know, they actually did raise rates 0.5 basis point, which was expected. Let's just go ahead and take a quick look, you know, at the New Zealand market, NZD USD real quick, see how the market is reacting to that data. All right, so, I mean, we've seen, an initial spike up, but now price ultimately did roll over. All right, and this is something that, I mean, I've been expecting. I mean, you guys can see this markup was done literally at the beginning of the month. right? But yeah, I'm expecting, guys, still more continuations to the downside. Even though technically speaking, interest rates going up is going to cause the economy, right? It's going to weaken possibly the economy over there because now interest rates have gone up. Again, the cost of borrowing is now going higher and higher and higher, which in return should cause people to actually go ahead and hoard their New Zealand dollars, right? So the New Zealand dollar itself, guys, it could possibly gain strength. But against the US dollar right now, I don't see it happening, right? Even though technically speaking, we could have seen, you know, a bounce off or a nice little strong reaction, and it's still possible, right? It is still possible for the New Zealanders to react in a more bullish manner. But overall, even if we do see, guys, for whatever reason, this start to come back up based off this news, because typically this type of data will strengthen the actual currency and weaken the actual economy over there in New Zealand. But against the US dollar right now, nothing is safe. Right, nothing is safe against daddy dollar, guys, right? So that's something we have to really be mindful, right? For whatever reason, price did decide to spike up, I'm definitely going to be looking for more opportunities to continue shorting, you know, NZD USD overall, right? Even with the data that just got released, you know, overall, it just makes more sense for me to continue wanting to sell NZD USD as opposed to trying to buy it, especially against the actual dollar itself, right? So that's something to keep in mind, guys. Again, overall, even if we do rebound off of the data, I think we're eventually going to continue selling off overall, right? So that's just something to quick look at for the New Zealand. Again, I don't really trade New Zealand pairs too often, which is why I really wasn't focusing too much on the release. But I get some of you guys were probably trading some New Zealand pairs, so I don't mind taking a look at it for sure. You know, but overall, we just seen a nice little strong bearish reaction, and you know, I wouldn't be surprised if it continued, but I wouldn't be surprised if we seen a pullback before the continuation. All right, let's see NZD pound. Let's go look at pound NZD real quick, and then I'm gonna get into my pairs that I really want to look at. All right, so for pound New Zealand, I mean, overall, this has been absolutely disgusting market. I mean, look at this, guys. Literally since almost the beginning of this year, we really haven't done much in this market whatsoever, right? We're pretty much just been going sideways, especially as of recently. We just been stuck inside of this range right here, you know, and this is the type of markets that I really don't like. All right, so this literally been range bound for the past 2-3 months. So overall, not the best idea, not the best opportunity to get into anything. If I was to get anything, then it's going to be right back up to structure highs, you know, trading it back to structural lows, if anything, right? Like seeing the market come back up to here, 1.95, and then from there, I ultimately like to really target right back down to the downside, because overall, again, we really don't have no other evidence besides the fact that we're going to continue staying range bound. So overall, guys, this is very possible for prices to go ahead, and if we do go a little bit higher, for it to rebound and then go ahead to drop at least right back down to the downside overall. All right, and it definitely probably makes the most sense to do this because, I mean, the last recent real strong thing that we did was this strong push down that did end up breaking structure. So all of this in itself is just a part of the correction. So yeah, you know, there is a chance for price to actually go ahead and possibly go bearish, right? But at least back down to this low right here. Again, you know, you don't know what's going to happen after that because market has been extremely range bound. But let's go ahead and take a quick look, guys, at the dollar itself and really get into the pairs that I personally like looking at, I personally like trading. And obviously, you guys know I'm very big on trading the dollar itself, you know, because the dollar is the currency reserve of the world. This is the big boy. You know, if you're able to figure out, guys, what the dollar is going to do, then you should have a pretty good insight as to what other currency pairs that are attached to the dollar are also going to do. Now, overall, we did see a very, very strong closure. Not this most recent day, not today. It was more of an indecision, but the previous day, guys, we did see a massive closure. Bullish structure, bullish closure for sure. But I want you guys to take a look at this thing from the bigger perspective, right? I've been showing you guys the same outlook, guys, for the while now, and look at what we got here for the dollar. You know, we are at very, very strong levels. We are at a very strong supply zone, and there could be a chance. There might be a chance, right? There might be, who really knows? I'm not psychic. I'm not a fortune teller. I don't know with 100% certainty what's going to happen. No Forex trader does, right? But what we could do is figure out an opportunity by thinking about what's the probability of something occurring, and then we trade based off the probabilities of it actually potentially happening, right? So what I think can happen, guys, overall, I do believe we're going to still remain bullish, right? Like, I don't see anytime soon where this dollar, guys, is ultimately going to really start to change momentum. until we actually have a big catalytic reason for it, right? Like, as long as we're still raising interest rates, as long as we still have CPI numbers very high, which again, we do get the next reading tomorrow, as long as we're still dealing with all these factors, guys, with inflation, then there's no reason to try to bet against the dollar at all, right? Every single time people have been trying to bet against the dollar, they have been getting absolutely destroyed. And it's just because the demand for the dollar is through the roof, right? It's way stronger than any other asset, any other currency out there. And I don't see no reason for anybody to try to go against that, right? We don't have no data for that. We don't have enough data just yet. So what I think is going to happen, guys, ultimately, right? Yeah, we did see a nice strong, at least, you know, the past day or so, it really wasn't as strong. But overall, I still think we're very much bullish. So I want to see, guys, more continuations to the upside. You know, especially looking at what we've been seeing here on the 1 hour time frame. We've seen price come all the way up. We've seen this minor little pullback, and now it looks like we're starting to pull back away, right? So this is what I'm gonna be looking for, guys, for the dollar itself, going into tonight, going into tomorrow, right? If we're able to go ahead and really get above, like, I really am interested in seeing price really see a strong break above this level right here. If we're able to really see price go ahead and break to the upside, right, and continue, guys, and I very much believe we're going to continue going higher, right? So that's telling me personally, when I'm looking at it from that perspective, I believe that we're going to see a lot more bullishness for the dollar, right? So anything that begins in USD, like USD JPY, USD CAD, USD Swiss, right? If we're bullish the dollar, then we should expect those currencies to be bullish as well, right? We should be looking to buy USD CAD, looking to buy USD JPY, looking to buy USD Swiss, right? USD CAD, right? That's if the bullish is going to remain strong across the board. And then we also have the flip side, right? If it ends in USD, right, like Euro USD, Pound USD, NZD USD, AUD USD, right? Anything that ends in USD, if the dollar is going to be stronger, then we should see those currency pairs drop in value. Okay, we should see that occur, and we could see that occur. So overall, like I said, though, I want to see if we're able to really gain enough strength here in the dollar to go ahead and get us above this 108.3 level. If we can go ahead and see price really break above 108.3, then I believe we do have a lot more upside to go. Okay, so overall, I'm still very much bullish the dollar for now until proven otherwise. Okay, so that's pretty much where I'm at, guys, in terms of the dollar. Let's go ahead and take a look at the euro. Right, the euro is actually at a very, very interesting point in time, right? Because if you look at the price of the euro, guys, we are actually trading €1 is equivalent to $1 right now, right? We're pretty much at parity with the dollar in terms of the euro, and this hasn't happened in almost, in a while, right? Let's see. Right, like last time the euro, guys, was trading at these levels at around where it was equal €1 was equivalent to $1 was back in 2002. Right, so we're talking about 20 years ago, right? We have not seen the euro in this level at this price point in 20 years. Very interesting. Right now, obviously the euro is just getting destroyed as well, because obviously it is tied up to the US dollar, right? And the dollar index, guys, right, the index that we measure when we're looking at the dollar, like that bucket of currencies that makes up that index is made up predominantly of the euro, right? And vice versa, right? The bucket that the euro, if you actually look at like the euro index, similar concept, right? Most of that index that the euro is made up of is going to be predominantly of the dollar. So overall, right, this is very interesting information. But what I think can happen, right, again, as of right now, we don't have no evidence that price is really going to go ahead and shift on us, right? Maybe if we get a candle closure above the previous day's high, right? Maybe if we get a candle closure above the previous day's high, that can possibly trigger a deeper correction. But as of right now, we don't have that type of evidence, guys, right? So what I think can actually happen, what I'm going to be looking for going into tonight, is I actually want to see more downside, more selling pressure to come in for the euro itself. Right now, where am I going to be looking for? Well, I'm very interested in this area up here of structure. All right, anywhere in this range. Let me actually go ahead and make this. I'm going to highlight this, right? I'm going to make it a little bit easier. Right, anywhere in this range up here, guys, if we can see price come up back up into this level, right, then that's where I'm very comfortable with looking for more continuations. Right, very simple. If we come back up into this structure point, right? Give us maybe some confluence off of that moving average, coming back up to this area of structure. I would be very interested in looking for some more continuations to the downside. So that's my bias, guys, going into tonight for the euro, looking at the euro. If we're able to do something like that, then I'm very comfortable with risking 2% to 100% make a bearish trade on this, right? Risking 2% to go for around, it's a 3.5, so going for around 7% gains, right? Risking 2% for 7% gains, I would do that every single second that I get, right? Every chance that I get, as long as it makes sense, as long as it's logical, I'm taking that trade, no questions asked, right? So this is what I'll be looking for, guys, going into tonight for the euro. A bounce back up, but then again, seeing if we can go ahead and continue this bearish tone that we have been in for God knows how long, right? Look at this, right? This market has just been completely bearish, like absolutely completely bearish. Look at this, right? Since the beginning of this year. So I want to continue staying with that. Remember, guys, our job as traders is to align ourselves with the path of least resistance. What do you guys think is the path of least resistance right now? Is it looking for buys? Is it to the upside, or is it to the downside? Go ahead and answer this in the chat. Let me know who's paying attention. Let's see. Question: Abel, as soon as you make your entry, what things do you see that change your mind and you decide to close your trade? Thanks for your time, bro. That's a good question, Jay, and I'll break it down as well. A few things that I talk about. Could a turning point for the dollar be rate hikes starting to decrease? 100%, Kyle, right? Like, as of right now, it's pretty much a given that they're going to raise rates 0.75% again, right? But if they eventually start to do a U-turn on that, right? Like, if they start to raise rates, this next 1.75%, and then CPI data starts to look like it's starting to come under control, right? Where CPI goes from 8.8% down to, say, 8.4, 8.3 or something, just, lower than what it previous was. And then they see interest rates, instead of doing 0.75, they start doing 0.5, 0.25. Then, yeah, things like that will be catalytic reasons or catalytic moves that can cause the dollar to finally lose its strength, right? So things like that, 100%. All right, let's see. To the downside. Yeah, exactly. All right, you would want to, guys, again, the path of least resistance is staying with the overall trend with the order flow of the market. So the path of least resistance, is definitely looking for some shorting opportunities to stay with the overall flow that we've been experiencing, right? So again, for me, what I'm looking for going into tonight is definitely going to be looking for some more shorting opportunities for Euro USD, right? Even if you want to take it at the start of this, where this little order block is right here, right? Even if you want to take an entry right where this little order block is, that's fine. Just put your stop loss above the high. Then you can go ahead and target down to the lows, and possibly even target for even lower lows to be created, right? But overall, this is not a bad looking idea. Very simple play. It makes sense from a logical perspective. It makes sense from a fundamental perspective, a sentimental perspective. It just makes sense for this idea, guys. So overall, like I said, when I have ideas like this that just make sense from all aspects, not just from a technical play. Y'all know I don't just only rely on technicals, but when it makes sense from a fundamental play, from a sentimental and a technical play, see, that's what gives me a lot of confidence to go ahead and allow this play to actually play out, right? Because that's the one thing about trading, guys. Whenever you guys do find your edge in the market, right, your strategy that like the back of your hand, right, that one thing that when you see it, you're like, wow, okay, I want to trade that because I'm very confident in that specific pattern. Whenever you find that edge in the market, as soon as you get that edge and you identify it, that edge in itself, guys, should really give you the confidence to take that trade and not get emotionally involved. Okay, so I've seen this occur so many times, this play so many times occur, and it also lines up with every single form of analysis that I utilize, that I'm confident in it. Right now, again, just because I say I'm confident does not mean that I'm 100% going to win. This market is not going to just allow us to win 100% of the time, no matter how good the setup looks. But I am confident in the fact that I've seen it play out more times than it hasn't, and that's why I'm comfortable to go ahead and risk 2% and allow the trade to do what it has to do. And again, the biggest thing too, guys, that again, I do not over leverage, right? I do not. I'm looking you guys in the eyes right now. I do not over leverage. So that's also another reason why I'm able to have my emotions under control. Most of y'all on this call still are over leveraging and then trying to figure out why you're emotional and why your emotions go through the roof. If you want to be able to control and manage your emotions like a professional, then you have to stop over leveraging. You have to stop being greedy. You have to stop trying to flip your account, because that's not going to help you out whatsoever. That's going to cause you to go ahead and become emotional, because now you over leverage. Now you're throwing a lot size that's way too big for your account, and now you're scared to lose because you're over here over leveraging. Guys, I promise you, when the reason why you see a lot of professionals tell y'all to practice proper risk is not just to keep your account here long, but it's also to help you with your emotional battle that you're going through. You are going through an emotional battle when it comes to trading. You have to really learn how to manage and control them. But you will have a very, very tough time doing that if you continue to over leverage. All right, let me put my glasses back on. Right, I wanted you guys to get that, right? Because this is, again, very important information for sure. Okay, let's see what else we got. I'm already 25 pips in a risk-free EU. Let's go, my guy G. Appreciate you. Let's go. All right, let's see. NZD tripping, is it? All right, let's go back and see what NZD. Let me see. Let's see what NZD doing. Okay, it's not doing too much. All right, yeah, it's seen a little drop. Again, I like I said, I expect this to drop long term. All right, but because of the data, because of the news, there could be maybe a moment for price to spike up before we continue. But overall, I'm still expecting more bearishness. All right, but let's go take a look at. So that's my bias, guys, for Euro USD. I would love for us to just see price come up and give us, more of a continuation type of play. That would be pretty lit. That would be pretty cool. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it is what it is, right? We're not gonna cry or complain. We're gonna take that L. Then we're going to go ahead and just think about the next opportunity, the next best setup that we can find. So overall, though, this is what I'm going to be looking for Euro USD. All right, let's go take a look at AUD USD and see what we got over here. Right, similar concept. I mean, for the most part, guys, we have been genuinely seeing this thing go flowing to the downside, continuing this bearish tone. And, I mean, we did see a nice, strong, bearish reaction over the past few days. And I think we could see more continuations overall here for AUD USD as well. Right now, where are we going to be able to look for continuations from? Well, let's start working our way down time frames and see what we can ultimately find here. Right, so overall, I like this setup right here, guys. Right, this is actually not that looking, it's not looking too bad. Right, looks pretty nice, and this is not a bad play right here. Right, overall, we are definitely bearish. Very simple. We're seeing the market go ahead and create these ultimately these lower lows, lower highs. This one took a little while for price to actually continue in the trend, but that's a part of the process. You're going to experience, guys, a lot more corrections, a lot more pullbacks than you will actual impulsive moves, so keep that in mind. But overall, we are genuinely creating this downtrend, right? So again, what is the path of least resistance, guys, here for AUD USD that we're currently seeing? What is the path of least resistance? Are we looking for uptrend or downtrend, bullish or bearish? You guys let me know. The path of least resistance. There we go, Oscar. Shout out to you, Oscar. Yeah. Right, the path of least resistance is still very much bearish. Right, we are still very much selling off, guys. So overall, I do expect us to continue. Now, does that mean we just enter right here? No, not necessarily. Right, but Abel, bro, we're testing structure right now, bro. Look at this, bro. I was taught that whenever I have previous levels of support, they could turn into resistance, and you are 100% right. They could turn into resistance, but you also got to be aware of the fact that these levels that are also very obvious could also be the areas that are very easily manipulated. Okay, so the reason why I say that is because we also have to understand, guys, supply and demand and premium and discounted pricing. Yeah, we seen price go ahead and give us a nice strong sell that broke structure. We can all see that, but everybody in the world could see that. But what most people in the world won't see is the fact that we did have all this imbalance that is still left over, right? All this imbalance, all this price inefficiency, right? And we also have the ability to now expect price to come higher. Why? Because now we're probably going to go ahead and clear all this inefficiency that was left behind. Fast moving price action like this typically will eventually get corrected to balance out the markets. So this imbalance, this fair value gap, whatever the hell you want to call it, I don't really care, right? You choose whatever you want to call it. But just know, whenever we have this type of clean traffic, more times than not, it will get filled before we go ahead and create a new low. So what I believe is going to happen, guys, this is what I'm interested in. I want to see price go up for AUD/USD, and then around this 0.68100 level, that's where I would very much be interested in looking to short this market. Okay, very, very interested in doing it. Not just sort of interested in it, but I will be very, very interested if that actually was able to go ahead and play out, right? So overall, not a bad looking play neither, right? We just have to see if price can come up higher. And what we want to do when price does come up higher is we want to identify areas of supply and demand. All right, areas of supply and demand on this impulsive move right here, because that's going to give us an idea of where we could potentially enter this market. Okay, so what I'm looking at, I'm looking for when the fast price action really started, where it started to pick up, right? You see all this selling off that happened right here, all this right here, oops, right? All of this selling off, where did it start from? Right, where did this selling off, like this big momentum that eventually broke structure, where is the origin of that move? Because if that's where all of these sellers really decide to go ahead and liquidate their supply, which caused price to sell off, then that's where we can expect price to also give us another reaction from again, right? So this area right here, let me go ahead, I'm just gonna make this one highlighted, right? This could be it. Right, this could be that area where we can expect price to give us a similar reaction, right? So if we look at that, that is going to be around this 0.681 level, right? 0.681. So if price comes back up to here, very simple, I will be looking to short it. Okay, I would be looking to short. So I'm going to be looking for sells going into the market tonight for AUD/USD to align ourselves with the path of least resistance, which is clearly bearish, right? We have been on a downtrend for a while now. Okay, now all we're doing is just seeing a pullback occur. More so, we're seeing a complex pullback. If you also want some more confluence in there, fine, right? And I always get this question, Abel, bro, do you use Fibonacci's? Do you use extensions? Do you this? Do you use that? And yeah, I know how to use it all. It's just, it's really not as necessary, or it's not as needed as you needed before, right? Before, when I was when I was starting off trading, I used to try to get as many different confirmations, right? I used to try to line up all of it, right? My support and resistance with my trend lines, with my Fibonacci levels, with my harmonic patterns, with my Elliott wave. Trust me, right? I used to try to add all of that stuff up just to make my chart look pretty. But one thing that I realized is that you don't even need to do all that no more, right? Especially when you get good with trading. Yeah, it's good to have maybe for added confirmation if you wanted it, but it's really not that necessary, right? So overall, yeah, I could throw my fib on here and be like, man, okay, this level right here lines up perfectly with my 61.8. And yeah, you might get a little bit of confidence in that. Lines up with our structure point. Man, let's go ahead and see where our fib retracement is looking like, right? Let's use our fib retracement and also line this up, right? Even if you line this up now, look at this. Right now, our extension level also lines up into here, right? Our 1-to-1 fib level. So yeah, now we have a lot of different confirmations saying, yo, man, this is a very, very attractive level right here, right? But as you guys seen, I identified that level by simply just identifying regular price, regular supply and demand. All right, I didn't get too crazy saying, oh man, let me add all these tools, let me add all these confirmations, because I promise you, all you trying to add as many different confirmations instead of just using very basic market structure, price action, and supply and demand levels, you're gonna start to overcomplicate things. And that's what we don't want to do here as forex traders, right? We're already dealing with a lot, guys, when it comes from the mindset perspective, right? Trying to juggle our emotions, trying to decide exactly, I mean, there's a lot, right? So when you're trying to get all fancy and you're trying to get all a million different confirmations, you're only going to really realistically be making it much harder for you. All right, so you don't need too much. Okay, like I said, there's a lot of evidence right here. All right, again, we have this fib extension, right? We're pretty much measures where we can expect this pullback right here, this little impulse right here. I mean, we can even do it like this, right? Measure the impulse and then do shift, copy, right? Shift, copy, paste, and then we can measure that to see where the one-to-one move is. It all lines up back in this area of supply. So overall, yeah, I really like this level up here, 0.6810. So again, this is where I would really be interested in looking for some shorts from. All right, so very simple. That's what I'm looking for, guys, in terms of AUD USD. Now let's see what else we got. And I hope this is all making sense, family. If this is making sense, then go ahead and smash that like button if you haven't done so just yet. Go ahead and destroy that like button if you haven't done so just yet. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at GBP USD. Again, all of these are going to be very, very similar, guys. Right. Again, anything that ends in USD, for the most part, all of these, Euro USD, AUD USD, GBP USD, we should be expecting similar outcomes, or at least similar directions, right? We should be expecting overall for the market to go in this very similar direction. So I still believe, even GBP USD, that we're probably going to continue selling off, right? It's just a matter of from where. Well, I think we can also see price give us a short pullback before we go ahead and continue for pound dollar. So where I would be looking, guys, to actually go ahead and sell GBP USD tonight will probably be around this 1.196 level, right? 1.196, 1.198 actually, right? 1.198 would not be a bad opportunity to go ahead and look for some shorts. So if price is able to go ahead and make its way back up, then that could be an opportunity for us to go ahead and go short. Again, very simple, not overcomplicating things. I'm just looking for a logical area for us to really give a trade from, and I'm gonna take advantage of it. I know some of you guys are probably thinking, well, Abel, what about this level of resistance that we're currently playing off right now, right? Could we sell off of there? I mean, again, I'm not going to tell you no, because the market going to do what it wants to do, right? I mean, it is a level of structure, technically speaking, especially on the 1 hour where we do have the 50. But overall, more times than not, these type of structure points, guys, that are more so in a discounted price point. Again, if we want to sell, and this is our overall trading range, right? Swing low to swing high, or swing high to swing low, right? We have anything below the 50. This is what's going to be in a seller's market. I want you to understand this. In a seller's market, anything below the 50 is what we call discounted pricing. Okay? We do not want to sell in discounted pricing. So anything above the 50, right? See, anything above the 50, see, now that's more like it. That's more like it, right? Because that's what we have, what we like to call premium pricing. All right, shout out to our newest subscribers as well. I appreciate y'all. Welcome to the family. Right, but again, as Forex traders, you want to trade in the premium price levels. Right? I don't know about y'all, but I don't buy things, guys, to give it away for cheap, right? Like, I'm not going to spend money on something and then sell it at a loss, right? Or sell it at a discount. That's not me, right? If I'm going to buy something, I'm going to sell it at a premium. Why? Because my job is to make money. I'm not here to lose money. My job is to make money, right? So if I was looking for a selling opportunity here on pound dollar, then I would have to be waiting. I would have to wait for price to get into that premium level. So then I know more times than not, I'm not the only one that's just going to be selling. But then we could also expect other traders and investors to be selling, because now they're going to be selling at a premium price point. Okay, so very important, guys, especially when you're thinking in terms of supply and demand. You have to understand the importance of discounted and premium price points. So overall, I think we could really see GJ continue to go higher, and I'm very much interested, guys, in shorting, around that 1.198 level overall for GBP USD. Very, very powerful information that I'm giving y'all right now, by the way, right? Like, this is extremely, extremely saucy, guys, this type of information, right? But that's what I'm looking at as well for GBP USD. If we could see price come up to this level, 1.198, I would be very comfortable with going ahead and shorting this. Let's go take a look at GBPUSD, guys, right? Because GBPUSD was absolutely phenomenal, right? I actually called out. Let me see if I can bring this up real quick, right? Because I actually sent out a video, and this is why, if you guys are not a part of my actual Telegram family, I highly recommend you guys to go ahead and be a part of it. The link gets dropped every 15 minutes right here in the chat by the bot, but I highly recommend you to go ahead and actually join the Telegram so you can go ahead and get a lot of more sauce and a lot more value for sure. All right, but let me go ahead and show you guys something that I want you guys to see, because I sent this out earlier today. All right, literally sent this out earlier, and I want you guys to see it. All right, because the market did exactly what we expected it to.
Quick 1 to 2 minute video just breaking down a few of my thoughts on a few pairs that I'm looking at going into this week.
Fire video, right? I'm not gonna sit here and play the whole thing, even though it's only a 2-minute clip, right? Just get into the Telegram family. The Telegram is super powerful. But on the Telegram, I pretty much just broke down, and I'm gonna speed it up. Right, I broke down exactly why I was expecting GJ to actually start going to the upside, and it pretty much did exactly what I said it was going to do, right? So overall, if you guys were in the actual Telegram, and if you guys seen this, you guys could have also gotten involved and caught this nice buy that I was able to grab, that I was able to get. Overall, it was a banger, absolute banger, right? Now let's go ahead and talk about it over here as well, right? So that we are aware of exactly what happened with GJ and how we could have gotten involved, right? So overall, guys, the first thing that I did with GJ, you know, when I actually called it, the first thing literally what I did was I went to the bigger picture to see exactly what price has been doing, right? And we just been stuck here, right? We've been trapped inside of, or playing above this level of structure, guys, pretty much for the past few weeks, right? Where every time price came back down to this level of demand, like we would literally find demand down there and price would start going higher. And that's what I was initially looking at, guys, earlier, before obviously we seen the increase. But I wanted to see price come down here and bounce off of this level of demand, you know, because every time price came down here, we seen, you know, the demand for the pound against the yen increase in volume, right? Increased in momentum. So I wanted to see that continue. So then overall, once I did next, and this is literally my exact same thing, my outlook, right? I did that on the daily. I identified this level of demand, went down to the 1 hour. On the 1 hour, guys, I noticed that we are also in another area of demand down here, right? Another level of structure, another area of demand. So when we came down into this area of demand, this is where I started looking for my entry, right? Because this is one thing I want y'all to get, family. Whenever I'm trading and whenever I'm looking for any type of setup, right, my main opportunities, my best opportunities are found inside of a supply and demand zone. But also when we're inside of a supply and demand zone, you have to be able to read price action, right? So look at this, guys, right? So we're in this demand zone, and we know it's a demand zone because the demand picked up once price came into this level down here. We seen it pick up, and it absolutely went flying. So we could expect that similar thing. So when we were in the demand zone, all I was doing, guys, was reading what structure was telling me, right? We were still creating lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, right? So we're still creating lower lows and lower highs as we're entering in this area. But one thing that I also really taught on the boot camp was being able to differentiate, guys, these pushes, right? Like, yeah, we're technically creating these lower lows, but there's really no aggression, no real momentum behind this move, right? So as I see this type of price action be creating, where we're creating these short lower lows and lower highs with no real momentum, no real nothing, that is telling me that price is going to get ready to reverse, right? That's how you identify, guys, a reversal in this market. If it's time for you guys to go ahead and jump in, all you got to do is just learn how to read this type of price action when momentum is showing that it is slowing down based on what price action is doing. So I seen this, right? I seen the ultimate low, and then I seen price ultimately come up and break structure. Once we broke above, guys, once we broke structure with this last push up here, that's what gave me the confidence to say, oh man, we're probably going to end up start flying off of this level down here when price came back down to another level of support. So very simple play here. Like, it really wasn't that complicated at all. It's all about just looking at what price action was doing. And I was able to get a pretty nasty entry, guys, down here at these lows on the retest down here, right? My stops were around maybe 15 pips away. And I ended up getting out when we ended up being up around 70 pips or so. But overall, this thing is still going, right? So I ended up securing 70 pips. And the reason why I ended up getting out was because I realized that we were starting to get into an area of structure, a previous area of supply. And yeah, I'd rather just get out and just secure that back. So that's why I ended up getting out. But overall, very simple play. Just reading price action, seeing how price is playing off of in this demand zone. And then once we seen that shift that breaks structure, the next pullback entry could have been your entry all day, and then you just go ahead and ride this thing out. So overall, really good looking setup, guys, that we were able to catch this morning. And yeah, I actually like doing that too. So did you guys enjoy, family? For everybody that was in my Telegram and that was able to actually see that, did you guys enjoy that little 2-minute breakdown? Because I'm thinking about doing that a lot more with a lot of the setups I'm gonna be looking at and paying attention to. Is doing like a 1 minute, 2-minute breakdown of the actual pair, what I'm looking for, what I expect to happen, just so that you guys are able to go ahead and look at it as well, and possibly even get involved if it lines up with what you guys are looking for, if it makes sense for y'all. But I don't mind doing that. You know, that was actually pretty dope. I was doing it earlier too, but yeah, you know, that was pretty dope, and I'm just excited that this one actually played out tremendously. Let's see. Yes, sir. Heat. Yes. Okay, perfect. Yes, I love it. All right, perfect. So that's what I'm gonna start doing now, right? Again, a lot of the setups I'm gonna be looking at. You know, big shout out to Nayi. How are you doing? Welcome to the family, newer subscriber. But what I'm gonna be doing is, sending out those little outlooks, and then we'll see how the market reacts. But overall, it's not bad. But what can we expect now, guys, for GJ? Right now that we see price actually give us a nice strong play. Right, that move pretty much is already done and over with, right? So what can we expect next? What overall, we are coming up into an area of structure, right? We are literally testing an area of supply right now. I'm still very much bullish this pair, but I would be a fool to think that price couldn't at least give us another push back down off of this level, right? It is very possible for price to push down off of this area of supply. And that could very much happen, right? But what I'm going to be looking for overall is I want to see price end up breaking this level, right? If we can see price, guys, actually go ahead and break above this 163.5 level, like then I really think we have a good chance for price to continue in this bullish trend, right? Like really believe that it is possible, right? But again, we're going to have to really break out of this supply zone first. Right, but because we do have the supply, same thing that I just told you guys, right, that I did down here at these levels, same thing, right? We see prices coming up to a supply level, so all we got to do now is either you be aggressive, right? You can be aggressive and take a short off of the supply, right? Again, that is aggressive, right? I'm just throwing that out there. That is aggressive, right? But it is something that you can do. Okay, you know, it is what it is, right? If you want to be aggressive and get in right at the supply and demand zone, there's nothing wrong with that, as long as you are obviously, you know, paying attention to your risk and doing it correctly. But what I would do is literally wait for this exact same thing to occur inside of this supply zone. Okay, again, you can try to obviously fine tune. I know all my smart money traders gonna be like, hey, Abel, I'm looking for that last bullish candle before the sell off, bro. That's all I'm focused on. Yeah, you can do that, right? Go ahead, and if you know any of my smart money traders, if you guys know what you're looking for, if you're looking for some order blocks, some imbalances getting filled, all that good stuff, then do your thing, right? But overall, what I want to do is I want to teach people how to really identify price action, right? And learn how to really read it. So what I will be doing, guys, is literally going to this 5-minute time frame, even maybe the 1-hour time frame, right? And looking for price to literally show that it is slowing down, just like it did over here. Right, where we seen price literally slowing down, and then we were able to see the break of structure, wait for the pullback, and then catch the entry. Same thing in here, right? So we could realistically see price start to come in here. We could see it slow down, then see a nice strong shift in momentum, right? That break structure, and then on that pullback, that can be your entry to go ahead and ride the short. Okay, that, in my opinion, that's probably what I would recommend you guys to do, right? Just get in the habit of doing that. Allow price to tell you when it's time to get in. Allow price to tell you when it's time to get out, right? So overall, I would love to see price come into this area, into this zone, and then really start to create structure and give us that shift, just to give us that extra confidence in the fact that this trade could really do something like that, right? So overall, that's what I will be looking at, guys, for GJ. All right, I do think we're still bullish. That's just my opinion, though, right? I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, I'm very comfortable with accepting when I'm wrong. I have no issue admitting that, right? But yeah, overall, though, I'm still expecting possible bullishness overall, right? Just my opinion, but that's what I'm leaning towards for sure, right? So either we see a nice little, again, a little sell-off off of the supply zone, and we see price push down. But overall, I would love. My main thing is going to be possibly looking for this buy down here around this 162.600. That's where I would be like. I would like to buy. Is where I would like to buy GJ at. Again, I could be wrong. All right, and that's why we practice proper risk. That's why we do not over leverage. That's why we make sure that we are treating this like an actual business and not treating it like a casino where we're just trying to flip some shit. No, guys, we're going to treat it correctly, right? We found setups that make sense logically, and we're going to take trades based off of our rules. And as long as you do that, then long term, you will see consistent gains and consistent results. But overall, like I said before, right, there is a chance for price to sell off in here. But I'm really going to be looking for the buy down here at these levels down here. That's what I'll be looking for overall. So we'll see what happens overall. You know, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. All right, so let's go take a look at USDJPY, guys. Again, I do believe we're going to see more bullishness come into play for UJ overall. I would love to see that personally, see more upside eventually. As of right now, though, we are pretty much testing some very significant levels of structure, right, where we're getting a very interesting reaction from, right? Look at this, right? Previous level of resistance, price broke through it, acted as support, came back down, acted as support, and then we've seen another strong push. So what I think can actually happen, right, or what I would be looking, guys, for USDJPY, right, is I'm looking to the left, first things first, right? I'm seeing what this level of structure actually tested, right? And we can see that it did test this level right there, which is actually pretty interesting. But I'm asking myself now, is it possible for price to at least come back down to this area of demand first before we actually go ahead and continue the bullish trend? Because if you guys remember, I said I was bullish the dollar, and I still very am much bullish the dollar. But we also do have a couple areas that we can expect a bullish continuation to play from, right? The first area is going to be right here, this level of structure that we're probably going to be testing very, very soon, all right down here around 136.800. There is a good chance that price does bounce off of there, guys, and actually go ahead and continues. There's a good chance that happens, right? But there's also a good chance where price can utilize this area as more of a trap to go ahead and build up liquidity, only for price to go ahead and shift, get into that real demand zone where the real momentum actually picked up with all this momentum right there. And then from there, we see price go ahead and ultimately continue, right? So there's definitely a couple different plays, different outlooks that we could look at for UJ. But there's really nothing wrong with even taking advantage of both if they played, right? Like if price comes down to here, I have no problem. Again, it's only going to be a 14 pip stop loss, right? That is nothing, right? So I have no problem at all taking this type of opportunity, right? Where we see price come down into there. Hopefully we get a nice strong reaction out of this demand zone. Stop loss is going to be right on the other side of that. You want to give it a little bit of space in case, in case price wants to go ahead and tap below the demand zone, because it does happen, right? But ultimately, yeah, we could see a continuation. And this in itself, guys, this is a 5-to-1 risk to reward, right? So we're risking 2% to go for 10%. That is game changer, right? I love that all day long. Now, if that one doesn't work out, it is what it is, right? Then we'll just go ahead and take that L, let the market do what it does, and then we can go ahead and, recalculate our decision making, right, on what we're going to do next. And yeah, then we could take advantage of the next one that makes the most sense, right? So that would be possibly down here. So overall, this is a comfortable setup. Looking at 2%, I'm very comfortable doing that, but I'm also very comfortable taking that L if it happens, and then I'll just look for my buy over here at this lower level of demand. But as you guys can see, family, like I really focus on key levels, right? Key levels for me are not just regular random levels of support and resistance, right? A key level for me is an area of supply and demand where there has been proven reactions, around those areas of supply and demand, right? Where the buyers and sellers always like to come in and out of the market at these specific areas. So that's how I like to find my entries, is by making sure that I identify my key levels of structure, my key levels of supply and demand, and then I take trades off of my supply and demand levels. Reason why I love doing this as well is because, for one, it teaches me a lot of patience, right? It teaches me exactly where I want to get in. And it also gives me the best risk to reward when you trade like that, right? When you really focus on entering the markets, guys, at key levels of supply and demand, your risk to reward is typically going to be it's always going to be really, really good. And that's important, right? Especially if you're a newer trader right now and you're not really winning too much, you're not seeing as much consistency on the win side, then you have to really focus on risk to reward. Risk to reward is going to be your best friend, right? Risk to reward is going to allow you to win 4 out of 10 trades, win 5 out of 10 trades, win 6 out of 10 trades, and still be extremely, extremely profitable, right? In fact, guys, a lot of the traders that I know, a lot of my friends that are actually really doing this, right? Professional traders that do this full time, most of them that do it, like, they're maybe 50% accurate, right? Maybe winning 5 out of 10 trades. But because they really practice, for one, great risk to reward rules, they're able to really make a shit ton of money, right? And be 7, 8, 9 figure traders in this space, all because of the importance of risk to reward. So don't focus on your win rate too much, right? When you focus on your win rate, you add an unnecessary amount of stress to your ability to trade. But when you focus on your risk to reward, see, that's a little bit easier to do, right? Because now if you take a loss or two, you're not going to be as emotionally attached. So that's the name of the game, risk to reward. Okay, that's the name of the game. But overall, not a bad looking setup, guys, here for UJ. You know, if this price comes down to here, then yeah, I'm definitely comfortable with looking for some buys. Let's go take a look at USD CAD. Right now, the CAD itself, very, very interesting overall. I mean, we really haven't been doing too much. All right, I'm here on the weekly time frame, and yeah, we technically been just seeing a little bit of an increase in price. Overall, guys, we really have been very, very choppy and very, very range bound. And just looking at where price is now, right, where we're seeing clearly a lot of reaction, a lot of rejections off of these trend lines, and this what is this, like a little wedge pattern that we're seeing. Based off that, and just because of that, I really think that there is a possibility for UCAD to absolutely, right, give us more of a bearish move off of these highs, right? And I only say that because, again, look at what has happened in the past, right? We've really been stuck inside of this little wedge pattern, guys, for pretty much over a year now, right? And yeah, obviously we do have a lot of dollar strength, but we've been having a lot of dollar strength, right? A lot of dollar strength has been happening for a while now. And even though we've been having a lot of dollar strength, USD CAD, for the most part, the CAD has also been strong. So because the CAD has also been strong, we have been seeing just a lot of range bound markets, a lot of sideways in price. All right, so overall, that's a very, very interesting to really keep our eyes on, guys, though. But I wouldn't be surprised, yeah, if price does go ahead and really give us a little bit more of a bearish tone, at least back down to the, down to these lows down here, right? At least back down to this structure point, back down to this very strong area of demand. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we actually did do something like that, right? Seeing price really ultimately go ahead and give a nice shift lower. Right, yeah, that's not bad. All right, so that's pretty much what I'm just predicting for now, guys. I think that we could see more continuations for USD CAD to the downside, at least for now. All right, at least for now. Let's see. I'm in a sale on USD CAD. Entered at 1.30319. Okay, nice. Let's go. Right, shout out to our newest subscribers. I appreciate y'all. Welcome to the family. Definitely means a lot. Let's see. Entered at CAD yen. We can take a look at CAD yen in a second. Gold. Yep. Did I look at gold? I didn't look at gold yet. I got you with gold next. GBPUSD is at a supply level on the 5 right now. Okay. Okay, let's take a look at that real quick. Yeah, we are at a very interesting supply zone. All right, this is a 5-minute one, though, so you got to just be mindful of that. The smaller time frame levels are a little bit, let's say, a little bit not as predictable, all right? Because there's a lot of different reactions. But, yeah, Again, I really want to see, remember what I said about GU? I want to see GU come up here, right? So if that's the case, then I'm going to be expecting this level to break. All right, but let's go take a look at gold, and then we'll look at CAD yen, see what we got here with CAD yen. All right, so gold, very interesting, guys. Overall, we really haven't been seeing nothing too much. We are at a very, very strong level of support, of structure, of demand right now for gold. And if we really look at gold as well, guys, the volume for gold has been starting to lose, or has been losing steam. And I know because this right here is the MACD indicator. You can see that the bars are starting to go lower, which means the volume, the selling volume is starting to lose strength overall, because we are starting to see these candlesticks go down, or at least these little wick thingies. So overall, guys, I wouldn't be surprised if we finally, again, I'm still, at least for now, thinking more bearishness long term, just because anything against the dollar has just been very, very tough to go against. But I think there is chance for us to actually give us a pullback. All right, I believe that there is a chance, guys, for us to actually go ahead and really pull back here for gold, right? It does look like it's starting to set up. Pricing itself does look like it's really starting to shift very, very soon. Even though we haven't really seen no real shift just yet, I do believe that we could eventually see price really go ahead and start to break out. So what I'm going to be looking for gold, guys, is I want to see an actual breakout. Like, I want to see price actually go ahead and really show a sign of strength. And then from there, look for that pullback. And then from there, we can go ahead and target, up to our next levels of supply and demand. Right? We have our next area of supply up here. So if price does give us a nice strong break and an entry, we could target up to this area of supply. Right, but yeah, I really want to see, I'm not going to just jump in just to jump in, right? I want to see a sign of strength, right? I want to see some type of proof, some type of evidence showing that price is absolutely going to give us a move higher, right? Right now, we don't have that type of proof just yet. All we have is just a little bit of momentum, right? A little bit of this momentum started to die down, right? And you can just tell by how the price action is looking. It's getting very, very choppy, but even that is still not enough. Right, so I want to see an actual real break of structure, break of this little pattern that we're in, and then from there I will be looking for more opportunities to go ahead and look for continuation type of plays. All right, so overall, this level right here is really what I want to see. This level, if we could break this level, excuse me, if we could break that level, then that would be pretty lit. Right, that will give me the confidence to go ahead and look for some buys on gold for sure. Right, so that's what I'm looking for, guys, on gold. Right, I really want to see the market go ahead and really break higher. Now, is it possible for you guys to get involved down here somewhere? I mean, if you want to, we do have a little bit of evidence on this smaller time frame. Create lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and then we did see a nice strong shift that did end up breaking structure on this 5-minute time frame. So if you are riskier, if you do feel like the market is going to turn around, right? If you do think that we're going to see a rebound in gold and you like this type of price action, then yeah, wait for price to come back down to here. And off of there, that is a good chance to take advantage of it. I'm not going to lie. Right? Again, it's a little bit of a riskier play because technically the overall order flow has been bearish, right? But the risk to reward might be worth it, right? It might be worth it. We're talking about 3.5 to 1, just trading it right back up to the supply zone. That might not be a bad bet neither, right? So looking for a buy down here might actually play out. But just be mindful. That would be going against the current order flow of the market. So just keep that in mind. If you're comfortable with that and you're comfortable with taking the trade, then yeah, do what you do. But it doesn't look too bad neither. This might be a nice little short-term play that you could possibly catch for sure. All right, let me go take a look at CAD yen real quick, see what CAD JPY is looking like. I haven't looked at CAD JPY in clearly in some weeks. All right, clearly in some weeks, so we do have some markets on here. But let's see what we got here, guys, for CAD yen. I mean, CAD yen literally has not done a damn thing. We are trading up in this area of supply, which is probably why price is just, giving us these reactions. But overall, like, look at this. Look at this from the weekly time frame, right? We're talking about the last 2 weeks. We didn't do a damn thing except for create wicks, right? Overall, it just looks very, very choppy. It looks like price is starting to slow down. So if I'm looking for something here, guys, for CAD yen, it's probably going to be looking for a shorting opportunity. All right, so I would be looking to see if we can go ahead and sell, you know, CAD yen, and possibly go ahead and ride her all the way down to these levels at around 102.15, right? So overall, I'll be looking for shorts. Let's continue going lower time frame, see where we're at, right? Overall, we did get a nice reaction over here to structure. Now we're pulling back up. We're going to be testing back up into this area of supply. So yeah, if we can see price come back up to this 105.6, right? 105.6, that could be an opportunity to go ahead and short CAD yen, right? Somewhere up here is where I will be very, very comfortable with looking for some shorting opportunities here. And this is not a bad one either, because the risk to reward is going to be freaking crazy. All right, so a play up here might not be bad. Like, not at all, right? Right up into this supply zone. Not bad. Risking 27 pips, 28 pips to go for around 200. That's a 8-to-1 risk to reward. That is absolutely game changer. You guys know I love my risk to reward. So something like this, guys, I would gladly take every single chance, right? And I'm talking about we could possibly target all the way even lower. So now the risk to reward is even crazier. Maybe even a 12-to-1. That's nuts, right? Risking 2% to go for 24% gains. That's absolutely game changer, right? So this is not a bad one though, guys. Looking for CAD yen. I do believe we're probably going to see price go ahead and reach into our supply zone, especially looking at what we're looking at now. We could see price push up, and then from there go ahead and give us that reaction. So overall, it's not bad. It doesn't look too bad at all. All right, something to really keep your eyes on. Shout out to Vincent. What's going on, Vincent? I appreciate you. Welcome to being our newest subscriber to the familia. Let's go. Let's go. Appreciate you. All right, so that's again CAD yen. Let's go look at oil. All right, oil has been absolutely back on a little bearish run, right? We're finally under 100. Well, back under 100. We're at 95 right now. But let's see what we can expect next, right? Can we expect more downside for oil coming up soon? Well, it is very possible, right? But we are also at a very significant level of demand, where every time price has come down here at these price points, we have been able to find a very strong demand for oil at these price points. So there is a good chance where we could possibly even see that occur once again. So what I think can happen, what I believe is going to happen, especially looking at this price action, right? You see this big, strong bearish candle right here? It got us into this demand zone, right? We had a very strong bearish candle, but there was no volume behind that push. Look at this little dinky little candle right here, right? Little bar, little volume bar. No momentum right here. Like, look at this, right? Nothing. So you're trying to tell me this big old candle had no momentum behind it, no volume behind it, and not just that, but price ultimately came and pretty much erased that entire move? Yeah, more times than not, guys, this usually leads to more bullishness and more of a correction to occur. So with that said, I would not be surprised if we do see, at least for now, U.S. oil to start to rebound back to the upside. Right now, we are going to have areas of structure that we could target. First area is going to be over there, and then maybe even back up to these highs as well is also a possible play here, right? But overall, yeah, this is what I'll be looking for. All right, I would love to see price guys actually rebound now and at least come up to this 99, maybe 100 level for oil. So if you are trading oil, then this is what I will be looking for, right? Maybe a play back down to here would be pretty lit. All right, maybe something like this. Come down to around the 95 level and then get an entry to go ahead and ride this thing higher. Because that's my prediction. I think we are going to see oil go ahead and rebound and make its way back up to the upside, in my opinion, of course, right? So that's my prediction on oil as a whole. All right, on oil as a whole. So that doesn't look too bad though, right? That doesn't look too bad at all, guys. Again, I hope you guys see how like simple this is, right? Again, trading really does not need to be complicated. Trading is all about just identifying what we're looking at, and trading is all about really just putting your edge to work. And that's why it's so important, guys, to really go ahead and not just, obviously it's important to jump onto these live streams and just see how it's done, see how we do it. But also it's more important, so just really get that real education on it, right? Because I'm giving you guys a lot of value here, but it's completely different when I'm able to provide you guys from a structural perspective. So now I want to go ahead and really just bring up the fact that I do have a boot camp coming up August 15th through August 19th. And that boot camp is going to be a 5-day boot camp where we go for around 2 hours each day, and we're literally just going in, guys. Like I'm talking about, I break down every single aspect of trading that you guys need to know. I really break it down, right? Starting off with mindset, habit creation, all that good stuff. Day number 1, day number 2, we're talking about risk management, trade management, money management. Number 3 is all about fundamental and sentimental analysis, which is definitely a fan favorite because it was absolutely saucy. Day number 4 is all about technical analysis, really breaking all that down. And then day number 5 is pretty much just putting it all together, right? And that's what I look forward to providing to every single one of y'all that decide to invest in yourselves. All right, it's all about investing in your education. I invested into my education when I was coming up, and that's a reason why I have not worked a job in over 4.5 years. Right, I have been full-time trading now for the past 4.5 years, and it's because I invested into myself. I invested into my education. I invested into various courses. I invested into mentorship, and because of that, I was rewarded with the skill of trading. So I highly recommend you guys do the same exact thing. For every single one of y'all that is not at a level that you would like to be at just yet, then I highly recommend you to go ahead and take a look at my bootcamp and participate in my 5-day bootcamp, because it will just put you in a far better position than where you're currently at right now. And I can almost guarantee that, right? I appreciate every single one of y'all that were on the bootcamp. The first one, it was absolutely next level, game changer for sure. And I look forward to also continue to provide you guys with a lot as well. Right, so just had to throw it in there. Right, let's see. Boot camp was fire. A lot of value in the booty camp, 100%. Right, it was absolutely next level. All right, let's see. The boot camp is worth it, guys. Stop debating. I appreciate y'all for sure. Right. So again, just throwing it out there, guys. The boot camp is available if you guys want access to it. In the link in the description, the first link in the description is a form. All you gotta do is go ahead and fill out that form, and then I'll go ahead and get back to you with everything that you need. Right. So overall, fire. All right, let's see. How do we in Africa participate? All you got to do is go to fill out the form, and then obviously figure out a way to actually pay the fee just like everybody else. And I mean, once that's done, then you'll be able to participate. All right, then you'll be able to participate and really be in that and get everything with it, right? So overall, though, it's going to be, like I said, the bootcamp is going to be next level. All right, it's going to be next level. Absolutely game changer. Right, but other than that, guys, that's pretty much what I'm looking at going to tonight. Right, let's see what we got here for these indices real quick. Now, the indices, guys, again, remember what we talked about, right? Especially in terms of last week when I was talking to you guys about the indices as a whole. Like I told you guys, these indices, guys, were probably going to end up starting to roll over because of where we were in terms of supply and demand. I mean, look at this S&P 500 play. Remember this, guys? Like I literally wrote it down with y'all. I marked it up with y'all. And I told you guys there's a really good chance, like a really good chance for price to go ahead and really turn around from these levels because of the fact that this is a very strong area of supply, right? So very simple. These indices are absolutely rolling over. And I think there's a good chance, guys, that they continue to roll over, right? So I want to see more downside, guys, for a lot of these indices. So if we're able to see price come back up to, say, around the 3850 level for the S&P, that's a great area to really look for some shorting opportunities from, right? That 3850 level, yeah, I really like that area, guys, to look for some shorts here for the S&P 500, right? Maybe something like this that we could look at. Obviously, we can target down to these lows, break those lows, and target even to the lower lows as well. But yeah, this is not a bad opportunity here, right? Looking for S&P, just looking for that continuation now. Same thing with US 30, same thing with NAS 100. They all are doing the same similar thing, right? And I want to see more continuations. I mean, again, look at this. US 30 came right up to that supply, and then we started turning around. So similar concept. I would love to see price come back up and then ultimately go ahead and continue rolling to the downside. Let's see. Oil could be retracing from a weekly demand. It could be. That's for sure. Let's see. Do you plan to do a 5-day boot camp live in major cities? I suggest Chicago, right? Shout out to you, my people out there in Chicago. I appreciate y'all, right? But yeah, no, I do plan on doing that, but that's going to be more so sometime next year, right? Probably next year, beginning of next year. I'm definitely going to be doing more in-person boot camps, right? At major cities. Because I do plan on doing a lot of traveling, well, pretty much again, right? Because I've been traveling like crazy the past 3 years. And it's obviously been for the company that I was working for. But I was doing a lot of traveling, providing a lot of value in various states, various countries. And I plan on doing that once again. But obviously, just start off over here in the U.S., hit up a bunch of major cities, do some 5-day in-person boot camps. And yeah, I feel like that would be absolutely next level for sure. All right, how do we in Africa participate? Again, you guys fill out the form in the bio down below, and that should give you all the information that you need. All right, let's see you find this kind of educate for this expensive price. Don't anywhere. Don't sleep on the bootcamp. Yeah, 100%. Shout out to all you guys that were a part of the bootcamp for sure. Right. So did you go over gold? I did go over gold. I said that there is a chance for gold to actually go ahead and rebound higher. Right. So again, for me, I'm more so expecting, even if we do end up rebounding, right now gold has been just getting absolutely walloped against the dollar. So overall, you have to just keep in mind that the dollar is still extremely dominant, and gold can always just really turn around and continue going lower. But overall, I do think that we are at a time where we could finally start to see a correction in gold, right? So that's pretty much what I'm leaning towards, right? Is now seeing a pullback type of opportunity where gold does gain some strength and actually starts to pull back up towards that supply zone. Then I gave everybody a little outlook on what I could look at, or what you could potentially look at, you know, going into tonight for gold, right? You know, we did see a nice little reaction, a nice strong pop up that broke structure. So now we can see price come back down to this area of structure right here, down into this demand zone. And then overall, that could be an opportunity to go ahead and really start looking for some longs. All right. So that's pretty much where we're at for gold for sure. Right. But other than that, dude, family, I do appreciate y'all so much, man. That's going to be it for me tonight. Again, there's a lot of opportunities to take advantage of. There's this gold if you like it. There's this EURUSD, which I'm really looking for. AUD/USD. GBPJPY. I mean, we pretty much looked at a lot of different opportunities, right? USD/JPY looking juicy. GJ as well. Maybe if we come down to this level at 162.6, right? That also looks like a juicy opportunity to buy. So there's a lot of different setups on the table that we could look at. Again, I'm probably only going to be trading maybe two of these. Probably this GJ, maybe UJ, and maybe gold. Going into tonight, again, do not overexpose yourself, guys. Just because there's 10 different ideas available doesn't mean you have to take all 10. And if you do take all 10, make sure that you are managing your risk correctly, so that you are not overexposing yourself, right? But other than that, those are the ones I'm gonna be looking for. You know, and we'll obviously be back on tomorrow, right? Same time, same place, guys. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are coming on here. We are providing massive value, and we are going to go ahead and really take things up a whole nother level, right? Shout out to my guy, Bert. I see you, my brother. I appreciate you, right? So what I'm looking for here, Bert, for AUD/USD, is I would like to see price come up to around the 0.68 level, and I want to short AUD/USD around that 0.68 area. So that's where we're at with that, Bert. But I do appreciate you jumping on. Family, I appreciate every single one of y'all been walking with me, and I look forward to providing you guys with more value. And I will be back on tomorrow, same time, same place. So, all right, family, I appreciate y'all. I hope you guys have a phenomenal trading night and a phenomenal morning as well. All right, love you guys. Appreciate y'all.